Welcome to the Ford Fox College Saturday pregame, brought to you by the all-new 2013 Ford Fusion. Go further. We are here in Boulder, Colorado, as Stanford comes to town for the first time since 1990, as the Colorado Buffaloes are looking for the upset. It's coming up next, right here on Fox. And the greatest live mascot in college football takes the field as Ralphie and the Colorado Buffaloes welcome number 14 Stanford to town. And hello everybody, I am Justin Kutcher. Well, some of you at home may be saying, why should I watch this game? Here's the reason why. This is a potentially huge game for Stanford. They have Oregon State and Oregon coming up the next 2 weeks, and they may be making a change at quarterback. So with that, we bring in our quarterback, Heisman Trophy winner Eric Crouch. And Eric, at 6-2, why is Stanford in this position right now?
Yeah, they're in this position because the coaches want to see performance from their quarterback. They haven't seen the consistency from Josh Nunez, so they're going to look to Kevin Hogan to make some big plays. He's going to be in this offense not only as goal line packages or third and shorts, but he's actually going to play quarterback. He's going to get a drop back and read defenses.
A redshirt freshman is Hogan. Speaking of freshmen and redshirts, this Colorado team at 1-7, they have a ton of youngsters. But at what point is youth no longer an excuse?
Yeah, we'll be in 8 games into the season. You can't have an excuse for youth. And John Emery, their head coach, knows that. He challenged them this week. He said, guys, young freshmen and sophomores, be accountable for your actions. Don't look around the room waiting for other players to make the plays. You make the plays yourself and go out there and play hard. This will be a big test for them.
We are all set for football here at Folsom Field in Boulder, Colorado. Justin Kutcher alongside Eric Crouch and Darius Walker. It is a nice 49-degree Saturday afternoon. Elevation, we're over a mile high. The head coach for Stanford in his second season is a Stanford alum. David Shaw took over for Jim Harbaugh. And for Colorado, a Colorado alum, also in his second year, John Embry. Colorado won the toss. They elected to receive, so Stanford will kick off. Jordan Williamson will kick off for the Cardinal. Back deep is Dante Abron. And Ray Polk for Colorado. Stanford comes in a record of 6-2, 4-1 in the Pac-12. Colorado 1-7, 1-4 in the Pac-12. And Williamson's kick will go in and out of the end zone, so Colorado will start with the ball at the 25-yard line. The starting quarterback for Colorado is Jordan Webb, but Colorado, much like Stanford, we could see a couple of quarterbacks in this game as well. We could also see Nick Hirschman, but how about Jordan Webb so far this year, what he's done?
Yeah, I mean, he's a quarterback that came from Kansas, so he has some experience, and that's why they brought him here, so he could come in here right away and make a difference.
Webb will start in the shotgun. Christian Powell, a true freshman in the backfield. On first down, Webb to throw. His pass is complete to Nelson Spruce, a 6-yard completion. Well, we are in a place that's over a mile high. Darius Walker, you used to play in Denver. What's it like with this altitude?
Yeah, I got to tell you guys, that's one of the big obstacles that Stanford's going to have to overcome is the altitude. Last time Stanford played in Boulder was 1990, so that's 22 years ago. The only real way to simulate the altitude and to practice it is to consistently practice in it every game. I talked with Beck Hamilton, offensive coordinator for Stanford before the game, and he said there's no way we could simulate it in practice, so we're just trying to downplay it.
Second down and 4 here for Colorado. Webb, pump fake, pressured, escapes the pressure. Now Webb was looking for a block, trying to get some positive yardage, and it looks like he may lose a couple of yards as Chase Thomas chases him down. How about the impact players here for Colorado?
Well, you saw he was trying to get the ball there to Nick Casa. The transfer from defensive end to tight end. He's very athletic. Christian Powell, the big, powerful freshman running back with that forward lean. I love that. And Will Prechek, the defensive end, who just is an all-round player and has a really big engine. Just doesn't stop all day.
There is Christian Powell, 3rd down and 6 after that loss of 2. Pressure coming. Webb lost the ball. That is incomplete. Was looking for one of his tight ends, Vincent Hobbs. So this Stanford defense, which is so good, especially against the run. forces the 3 and out for Colorado.
And you can tell the pressure that the defense is going to be bringing all day. You know, defensive mindset here is to be very physical and come after the quarterback.
Drew Terrell is back deep as Dara O'Neill will punt here for Colorado. O'Neill, the rugby-style punter, with a good punt. Gets it away from Terrell. That would be down around the 21-yard line. A 51-yard punt for O'Neill as Josh Nunes takes the field as a starter for Stanford. Nunes on the season 6-2 as a starter. He's been winning, but Eric, you see those numbers, as you mentioned at the top of the show, not what Stanford and the coaching staff was looking for.
Yeah, there is a new standard at Stanford, and that is to be consistent on offense and take your team down the field and score points. They haven't won many games by a big margin, so that could factor into their decision to change the QB.
Stephon Taylor in the backfield with Nunes in the shotgun. Nunes to throw on first down. Pressured from behind. Now he's going to tuck it and run for it. And Nunes will get up to the 25-yard line, picks up 4, chased down by Will Precheck. How about the impact players for the Cardinal?
Well, Stephon Taylor, he is an incredible running back, and is he going to be the first guy that they've ever had go over 1,000 yards for 3 straight consecutive seasons? The first one, Chase Thomas, again, a guy on linebacker who's very physical. The coaches said he is our defense, and Trent Murphy, a great compliment on the other side of the defense. His fast physical ability, he's a big guy as well. 2nd down and 6. Under center is Nunes. Nunes throws near side to his tight end, Zach Ertz. Picks up 4, will set up 3rd down and 2. I'm a little surprised here with this offense. We've seen try to throw the ball twice. You know, they're that running team. We thought we were going to come in here and they're going to pound the ball and pound it in their face, down their throat. Zone runs up the middle. But we're seeing them throw the football, which is a little bit different than what we thought.
David Shaw was the offensive coordinator under Jim Harbaugh, then was named the head coach. Now in his 2nd year, 3rd and 2. Nunes again to throw. Throws high, incomplete. Was looking for Ertz. Brady Day there on the coverage. So a 3 and out forced by Colorado, and not one running play on that series.
And this is the inconsistency that we've been talking about. But Brady Day does just a tremendous job of watching the eyes of Nunes and breaking up that pass and creating them to get that ball back on offense.
Gerald Thomas is back to receive the punt from Daniel Zaklinski. A low snap and a low kick. Runs into his own man at the 30-yard line after a 45-yard punt. On first down, a flag on the play. Webb taking a shot down the field. Incomplete. Was looking for Tyler McCullough. Terrence Brown on the coverage. Let's see what this flag is.
Offsides. Defense in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
An uncharacteristic early penalty by the Cardinal.
Well, like Darius said, you wonder if that altitude got to him early. I played 2 games here, and man, I was spent before the game even started, just in warm-ups.
You guys were both exhausted yesterday after the workouts. I was pretty disappointed in both of you.
Yeah, you always have a tendency to perform better in the weight room than we do.
1st and 5. Powell on his first carry. And Powell will get to the line of scrimmage. Ben Gardner there for the stop. How about the keys here for Colorado?
Well, Colorado, you talk about protecting the football offensively. They want to run. They're going to get the ball on the outside, but no turnovers. In Stanford's defense, we talked to Chase Thomas on the phone, and he told us personally, we need to finish strong. We need to play for 4 quarters, and they need to do that today up here in the high elevations.
2nd down and 5 from the 35. Handoff up the middle. It's Powell again. And Powell gets stood up after picking up about 4 yards. Shane Scove, inside linebacker, makes that stop.
You had a chance to watch the young running back Powell on film, and I love the way that he leans forward while he's running. That center of gravity, leaning forward, it makes it so tough for the defenders to stop him. You see they're just trying to take him down. It takes 4 or 5 guys, but what a great job of just leaning forward and getting those extra yards.
Christian Powell came in as a fullback. 6 feet, 235 pounds, and all of a sudden they saw what he could do. They said, let's move the tailback. They hand off to him here, and Powell will get that first down. Christian Powell is the leading rusher on this team as a true freshman. He was actually a high school teammate of Dante Abron, who we'll also see at running back. He was the fullback, Abron was the tailback, and now he's taken over as a tailback here in college.
Yeah, and we talked earlier about how important it is for the young guys to step up. This is an opportunity for Powell to prove that he stepped out of that freshman mold and now is one of the leaders on this team offensively.
How about that? Jordan Webb had to call Alex Wood back in from the sideline for this first down play. Webb pressured, and he goes down, sacked by Henry Anderson. A loss of 6 on the play.
You talk about Stanford and their physical ability, the speed that they have, and Anderson just getting outside on the corner and using those swim moves to get on the quarterback fast and pull him to the ground for a sack.
Stanford last week had a school record 10 sacks against Washington State. That's their second one already today. Second down and 16. Dante Abron is now in at tailback. Pressure coming. Webb gets rid of it quickly. Completes to Tyler McCullough. And McCullough gets up to the 45-yard line. A pickup of 10 makes this a much more manageable 3rd and 6.
Well, this is part of the offense right here. They're still kind of debating whether or not they're going to be a full pro-style offense, but they want to mix in that read zone and get the screens to the outside and let their players make plays. It's a great job by McCullough here. They're just getting the ball, securing it, and putting themselves in a position now to pick up this first down and keep this drive alive.
Christian Powell comes back in at tailback here on 3rd down and 6. They have to get to the 49 of Stanford for the first down. Nelson Spruce in motion. Webb with some time, throws, and that's picked off. Going back the other way. Ed Reynolds, touchdown. Second straight week for a pick 6 for Ed Reynolds. $52 yards on the interception return.
And Reynolds was just licking his chops. He knew that that quarterback was sitting back there waiting, looking around, and then eyeballed his receiver, and he was just sitting there in the middle of the field waiting to pick that ball off and run it for a touchdown.
Jordan Williamson now on for the extra point. 7-0, Stanford leads the 5th straight week. The Cardinal defense has scored a touchdown. After a pick 6, the conversation, Jordan Webb and head coach John Embry, what do you think they're saying there?
Well, Coach Embry is just challenging Webb right there to make sure that he's making the right reads. He's wanting to know what he's thinking while he's standing back there in the pocket. Is he looking at the right defensive players? And when plays break down like that, you really have to improvise, get outside the pocket, and get in better positions to make throws. That safety was sitting right in the middle of the field the whole entire time. He has to see that.
Second straight week for Reynolds with an interception return for a touchdown as Jordan Williamson will kick off again. Dante Abron and Ray Polk are back deep. 7-0, Stanford leading here in the first quarter. Polk will go back and let this one sail out of the end zone. Once again, Colorado will start at the 25-yard line. Well, after that conversation on the sideline, Jordan Webb stays there. Nick Hirschman comes in. We said we'd see multiple quarterbacks for both teams in this game, and now we're seeing our first look at Nick Hirschman, the sophomore from California.
Well, you're giving guys game opportunity to see what they can do during the game.
On first down, hand off to Abron. And Abron up the middle will pick up a yard. Dante Abron, another one of these true freshmen. 13 true freshmen have seen time already this year for Colorado. Hirschman's numbers on the season, that's a small sample size for him. He was 7 of 16, 64 yards, an interception last week against Oregon. Handoff again to Abron. And this time he'll pick up another yard.
And you bring in a new quarterback, Nick, and you're looking for a little bit of a spark. Is this going to spark the offensive line? Is it going to get them to be more physical at the point of contact? And we'll see how that plays out here in the next couple series if they can make a first down and continue to drive down the field.
2 runs, each for a yard. Now you're looking at 3rd down and 8 for Hirschman. Certainly expecting a passing play as Tony Jones is now in at tailback. He goes in motion, empty backfield. Hirschman throws towards the sideline to Jones, who gets tackled right away by Alex Debniak. Only a 4-yard pickup, so a 3-and-out here for Colorado.
Well, you think they would have gone at least to a throw that was going to get them a first down. You know, get to the sticks, use the tight end. They got big Nick Casa there, who's sure-handed. He'll catch anything. He's very athletic. I thought they might have looked to him first before going to the outside.
Dara O'Neal to punt. Drew Terrell is back at his own 27-yard line. O'Neal with a rugby punt. A flag is thrown. Fair catch. A signal for it made at the 23. Let's see what this flag is.
Holding on the defense, number 2. That'll be a 10-yard penalty. Yardage result in a first down.
Wow.
Number 2, middle of the screen. He just takes him right to the ground. The refs are going to check that out. They're going to see that. And they're going to call that every time.
So a costly penalty here for Wayne Lyons and Stanford. That gives Colorado new life. And in a game like this for Stanford, you can't have any letdown. You can't afford to make those mental mistakes to give this Colorado team hope.
Well, you almost forgot about the touchdown they scored already. You know, now that they don't have the ball, they just committed a penalty and, you know, a not so smart mistake, and given the opportunity, young guys now to come back on the field and make plays. This is an opportunity for Hirschman to prove to the offense and to this team that he deserves to have this spot.
On first down, Hirschman. Pressure is picked up. He's running around back there. And now Hirschman will get taken down. And Eric, is this an experience? Would you rather have seen him throw that ball away as opposed to taking that sack?
There's no doubt. In that situation right there, he knew he wasn't going to get to the line of scrimmage. You have to throw the football away. Put your team in a situation to look in the playbook and call the plays that you think you can gain yards. If you're 3rd, 2nd, 12, 13, you really just close it on your playbook.
Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator, the great running back here at Colorado. Looking down at his play sheet, what can he call here now on 2nd down and 13 after the 3rd sack of the game for Stanford? Hirschman pressured again. And does he get back to the line of scrimmage? Henry Anderson brings him down.
Take a look at how Henry Anderson just kind of manhandles the front line here and comes in. And then you got Trent Murphy on the outside. Trent Murphy, excuse me, who's really created the outside contain to make sure that he ran up the field and put him in a position to meet the rest of his defense.
The numbers for both quarterbacks last week against Oregon, not very good, although 2 scoring drives for Hirschman. But after that sack, it was a loss of 1. Now 3rd and 14. And again, this time on the screen, it's picked up right away by Chase Thomas. So a completion goes for 0 yards. Hirschman comes up hobbling a bit. And this Stanford defense, after committing the holding penalty on the punt, forces another 3 and out.
And Chase Thomas doesn't know what the offense is going to run, but this is just a idea of his athletic ability, how fast he is, what he means to this defense, to be able to sniff out the screenplay and catch him for a loss.
Dara O'Neal once again on to punt. Drew Terrell is back at his own 21. Low snap. Good punt by O'Neal, driving Terrell back to the 14. And Terrell gets tackled at the 20, but a flag comes in. A 48-yard punt. Let's see what this flag is for.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 42 on the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down, timeout on the field.
Another penalty on special teams for Stanford, but they will have the ball when we come back. The Colorado Buffalo trail the Stanford Cardinal 7-0 here in the first quarter. It may be the first quarter, but it's time to take a little ride with Ralphie. This is pregame as the Buffaloes take the field. One of the best pregame traditions in all of college sports. You run with the Buffalo. This is a camera on top of the cowboy hat of one of the handlers. I'm amazed how they keep that Buffalo in check. Josh Nunes back out at quarterback. It's the 4th play on offense for Stanford, and it's a handoff to Stephon Taylor. Samson Kapabalo there. This is the rest of that run. I think that's awesome. Again, the camera is on top of the hat of one of the handlers, the back handler. And they're going to let Ralphie run into the cage. And there is the camera. Can you imagine doing that? I don't think I'd be very comfortable.
Yeah, that doesn't look like a whole lot of fun.
Second down and 8 here for Stanford. Again, it's Taylor. And Taylor gets up to the 14-yard line, tackled by Brady Day, a pickup of 2. 3rd and 6 coming up. So we've only seen this Stanford offense on the field for 5 plays. There are 3 minutes left in this first quarter. We've seen 3 passes, 3 rushes, and we haven't seen a whole lot from either.
Yeah, well, that young front for Colorado, they were challenged. We talked about that by their coach. Are they going to come out and play with a lot of intensity and more energy than they have in the past, knowing that they're going to be knocked in the throat each play by this physical Stanford offensive line?
3rd down and 6 coming up. Nunes over the middle, complete. Levine Toilolo with the catch and the first down, picks up 8 on 3rd and 6.
I really like what Nunes does here. He looks at his read to the left, comes all the way back and sees the Toilolo in the middle of the field, dumps the easy pass. There's nobody around him. He knows he's got to keep this offensive unit moving down the field and be more consistent. That's the type of things they're talking about.
1st and 10 now for Stanford. Quickly out to Taylor. And a flag comes in as Taylor gets gang tackled at the 24-yard line. Paul Vigo, the first one there, picks up 2. But let's see what this is.
Holding, 54 in the offense. 10-yard penalty, make first down.
That's a left tackle, David Yankee.
Left tackle, David Yankee, you see him right there. He's the one that's going to get called for holding.
Holds against Shadira Uzodiribe, who, oh, by the way, is a cousin of Osi Umenyiora. It's not a bad guy to learn from.
No, not at all.
1st and 20 now for the Cardinal. Play clock down to 5. Nunes steps up. His pass is nearly picked off. Probably should have been by Uri Wright. The intended receiver was Drew Terrell, but Uri Wright was right there.
Well, Uri Wright just knew he, right there, needed to pick up that football. This is the defensive plays that they need to come up with here against Stanford. You know, you can't let that ball slip through your hands. You have an opportunity to get inside and score, pick that ball, get the ball to your offense. You have to do it.
Second down and 20. Play clock at 0. They just got it off. The handoff to Taylor, nowhere to go. Derek Webb was right there. Webb, who leads this team in tackles now with 59 on the season.
Well, I think what you're seeing now is a little bit of belief that Colorado, they can hang with these guys defensively. They've stopped them now consecutive times. They've been swarming around the football. Stephon Taylor hasn't had any big runs, isn't able to juke, make people miss and miss tackles. They're doing a great job right now of containing him.
Third and 20. Nunez sets up the screen for Taylor. Taylor got a block and gets tackled at the 23-yard line by Tyler Hennington. Picks up 11, but a punt coming up here for Stanford.
Yeah, there's such a long ways to go for them to pick up a first down. They want to call a screen here, but what a nice block. You see right there, he upends one of the defenders, but not enough to pick up this first down, not enough moves to make someone miss to pick up those extra yards. So we'll give the ball up.
Daniel Zaklinski, his second punt of the game. Gerald Thomas is standing at his own 39-yard line. Low snap, Zaklinski, nice play to field it. And a short punt, that goes out of bounds. Let's see where they mark it down. Colorado. Jordan Webb is back in at quarterback in his first pass, and that is intercepted. In and out of the hands of Nick Casa, and it's brought in by A.J. Tarpley, and Casa is down. Alex Carter delivered the blow, and Nick Casa is still down on the ground.
Left side of your screen right here. Nick Casa takes that hit from Carter. He delivered quite the blow, and he was the right corner out there, and he was just waiting for Casa to catch that ball, and when he did, he delivered a hit. What a great, powerful play. Great defensive play. And A.J. Tarpley, the one coming up with that interception.
And how about Alex Carter, 6 feet, 200 pounds, a true freshman, delivers that blow against Nick Casa, the 6'6", 260-pound senior. It is ruled a fumble against Casa, and the fumble recovery by A.J. Tarpley. So now with 1 second left here in the first quarter, Stanford can run one final play. Kevin Hogan is in at quarterback now for Stanford. And he keeps it. Hogan up the middle, the last play of the quarter, up to the 33-yard line, picks up 7. So Kevin Hogan, the redshirt freshman quarterback. Justin Kutcher alongside Eric Crouch. 7-0 Stanford leading Colorado. And Eric, we now see Kevin Hogan in the game. This redshirt freshman quarterback who we spoke about in the open. Now we actually see what he's all about.
Yeah, we do. He's going to be in this offense. Maybe look for some big guys to be coming in the game to be doing some extra blocking.
Hogan's first pass is completed to Ryan Hewitt. And Hewitt picks up the first down. A 7-yard completion. Kevin Hogan. He's a sophomore in standing, a redshirt freshman. Out of Virginia, big kid, can run. He was in the game kind of like Tebow sets before, but now his head coach, David Shaw, his offensive coordinator, Pat Hamilton, said, hey, we're going to give him a chance to play quarterback. Ertz in motion. Handoff, Taylor. Taylor with the hole, down the sideline. Touchdown, Stephon Taylor. 26-yard touchdown run for Stephon Taylor, his 7th rushing touchdown of the year.
Stephon Taylor didn't have to make anybody miss on this play. What great blocking by the offensive line. A lot of daylight in front of him as well. He just uses his speed and then puts a little in coaster motion right there in the last 5 yards.
Jordan Williamson on for the extra point. (14-0) Stanford. The 14th ranked Cardinal here in Boulder for the first time since 1990. Off to a 14-point lead. You get pretty good run plays when you have an offensive lineman, huh?
You do. Take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 offensive linemen in this game right now. And Ryan Hewitt, the fullback, you see him right there with the red triangle on him. He's going to be the one that springs open a very nice block on the outside for Stephon Taylor to just read his rear end. Wherever his rear end was at is where he goes.
3 plays, 40 yards, all set up by that Casa fumble. So all 14 points so far for Stanford are coming off of turnovers. Williamson's kickoff. That'll sail out of the end zone again. And it will be Colorado ball at the 25-yard line. Jordan Webb is in at quarterback. On first down, the handoff to Powell. And Powell pick up a couple of yards. And let's check in with Darius Walker, who has an update on Nick Casa.
Yeah, just a quick update, guys. He's classified as questionable the rest of the game. He had a hip contusion, so that's a little bit more serious than a bruise, but it's a big blow to Colorado's offense.
Certainly is a big blow, as Casa has 13 catches on the season, now 14, including that one that we saw before when he fumbled.
Well, you wonder now if it makes him a little bit more one-dimensional.
He's in. And we're going to have movement up on the line. Alexander Lewis, the left guard.
Ball start. 71 offense. 5-yard penalty. Main second down.
This was the hit against Nick Casa, delivered by Alex Carter. Take a listen. Again, that's a 6-foot, 200-pound freshman doing that to a 6'6", 260-pound senior.
What's more impressive is that the hit, or is it that he's back in the game?
Second down and 11. Look like a false start again as Webb now steps up and he dives forward. A.J. Tarpley was right there. Jordan Webb picks up 4. We'll set up third down and 7.
Really the inability of this offense to really get anything going today. Running the football, throwing the football. You saw Hirschman come in and he was flushed out of the pocket, so that offensive line has to do a better job of protecting when they get put in situations of throwing the football.
Well, now you're in a throwing situation and you wonder, what is Jordan Webb thinking? His last 2 pass attempts have resulted in turnovers. One, an interception return by Ed Reynolds for a touchdown. The other, the fumble off the hit with Nick Casa. Casa in motion. Webb back to pass. Steps up, looking for Casa into double coverage. Zach Hoffpower and Ronnie Harris were there, and you have to wonder what was Jordan Webb looking at, because Casa was certainly covered.
Yeah, there was 2 guys on Casa, 2 defenders that were on him right there. You can see them, they're both right around him. Not a great decision to throw that football right there and force maybe an interception. We've talked about this early in the game. Ball security is going to be important. They're down 14 points. You cannot throw up errant passes and put balls on the ground in the running game.
Dara O'Neal back to punt. Standing at his own 13, Drew Terrell back deep at his own 29. They got to get this one off. And a flag is thrown, delay of game against Colorado.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Makes fourth down.
Those type of penalties must drive Coach John Embry absolutely nuts, because, frankly, there's no excuse for that.
Well, they drive me crazy. I mean, there's 2 play clocks in this stadium on both ends, and they are at home. They know exactly where those play clocks are. They need to be watching them.
O'Neal This time goes straight away. A high punt. Terrell, fair catch at the 30. Kevin Hogan is back in at quarterback. My question is, did you teach your son the pose?
No, he taught himself.
On first down, the handoff to Taylor. And Taylor, nowhere to go, will lose a yard as Brady Day is there.
You know, we spoke with Greg Brown, the defensive coordinator for Colorado, and he has a new package for his team, specifically for Kevin Hogan when he comes in for Stanford. And that goes by a name that a lot of Colorado fans will know and love, and that's Tebow. They have a Tebow package for defense when Kevin Hogan comes into the game. It's a little bit of a different personnel.
Darius, have you heard them yelling Tebow on the sidelines?
I have. They're yelling Tebow all the time. I'm trying to figure out whether it's the coaching staff or the fans just being excited.
On second down, handoff once again. Taylor makes a couple of guys miss, but can't make the last two miss. Yuri Wright was there after a pickup of 4 by Stephon Taylor. Third down and 7 coming up here for the Cardinal.
Well, that Tebow package, I'm impressed by the way they've been able to stop the run so far. Other than that long touchdown play, they've been not giving up long runs, you know, less than 1-2 yards. So that's pretty impressive with this new Tebow package that they've been bringing in.
Third and 7, Hogan in the shotgun. Hogan's pass complete to Ertz. Ertz has the first down. Up to the 45-yard line, a 12-yard pickup on 3rd and 7.
Check out Ertz here as the tight end coming across the field. What a great job by Hogan, the quarterback, at getting him the football early and letting him make a move and get up the field and pick up that first down.
1st and 10. Play action. Hogan lofts it. Hewitt. And Hewitt. He picks up the first down. Tackled by Greg Henderson. 11-yard pickup.
And Hogan gives you that ability to get to the outside. And then Hewitt here doing a nice job of bringing that ball in, but not at the end there. Coughed it up a little bit. What a great hit. Helmet right on the ball by Henderson. And that's what caused that fumble right there.
He did fumble it, but Hewitt was able to recover it. You could see the entire sideline for Colorado was yelling for that ball. Instead, it's a first down. Ramon Wright. A reverse. Rashad Patterson has a ton of blockers. Patterson to the outside. Patterson dives. And he's going to be marked down shy around the 2-yard line.
Wow, what a call here. You think of this offense when they bring Hogan in the football game, that it's going to be pound, and on the ground. Well, they've been throwing and doing some play actions, and then here you see a reverse. This makes it very difficult for that Tebow package to be ready for plays like this on the outside, and Patterson using his speed and just his knack for using his blockers in front of him to try to get that ball in the end zone just came up a little short.
A 42-yard run for Jamal Rashad Patterson. So it's 1st and goal now from the 2. Stephon Taylor back in at tailback. Hogan running the option. Hogan dives, and he's going to be down at the 1. Brady Day there for the tackle.
Well, Brady Day having an unbelievable day right here at middle linebacker, and had his eyes on Hogan the whole entire time. And to come up and make that stop and keep him short of the goal line. That is a big body, 225 pounds, 6'4". Like we said, reminiscent of that Colin Klein type build.
It's Taylor diving, and Taylor will be stuffed. Doug Rippey this time. So 3rd and goal from inside the 1 coming up.
What confidence this could do for this Colorado defense to be able to hold a Stanford running attack to 3 points when they got on this 1-yard line. So We'll see what happens here. Expect him to bring the big guys in and give the ball to Stephon Taylor.
You've had 2 running plays stuffed. What do you think about this? You've got Kevin Hogan there at quarterback. How about a bootleg?
You run a bootleg, but you got Kevin Hogan. You also have big offensive linemen that they love to run the football. I mean, I don't think you get out of what you typically do best. I think you power the ball in the end zone, quarterback sneak, give it to Stephon Taylor, maybe off tackle type play.
Ramon Wright is in, Stephon Taylor is out. It's right to the end zone, touchdown, but there are some flags on the play.
Offside defense, that penalty will be declined, touchdown.
Touchdown for Ramon Wright. That is his first rushing touchdown of the year.
Ramon Wright getting the opportunity to get in the end zone. His pad level's low, his leg drive was good, and that's what got him across that goal line.
Jordan Williamson on for the extra point. (21-0). Stanford leads. A flag comes in.
Illegal substitution on the defense. That penalty will be declined. Try is good.
The big play on that last scoring drive. The 42-yard run by Jamal Rashad Patterson on the reverse. David Shaw and his Stanford Cardinal leading 21-0 as Jordan Williamson kicks off. And once again, no return necessary. Let's take a look at today's Buick Human highlight. And that happened on that 42-yard reverse.
Yeah, sure did. And Patterson doing a great job. You see, they've got Anthony Wilkerson in a quarterback here, and that could throw the defense off as well. And Patterson and his blockers up front, 54 and 65. There's really nobody in his vision until late there. And again, they confirmed that that was not a touchdown at the end of that play, but they were able to score.
Let's see who comes in at quarterback. It is Jordan Webb here for Colorado. Webb has been on for 4 series, 2 punts, 2 turnovers. The zone read, the handoff to Powell up the middle, picks up 2.
Wow, and did Powell get hit hard right there. Chase Thomas was close, and David Perry, number 58, nose tackle.
We really haven't seen much offensively out of Colorado in this game. They now have run 20 plays on the day, 10 of them for positive yardage. Webb, the slant pass, and that is almost picked off by a couple of different defenders. Nelson Spruce, the intended receiver. Jordan Richards delivered the blow.
You see Webb just taking a shot on that 3-step quick route, but not enough there. Jordan Richards making a huge hit and collision to pop that ball up.
Chase Thomas had a chance. James Vaughters had a chance at the interception. Instead, it's 3rd down and 8 for Colorado. Empty backfield. Webb throws, was looking for his tight end, Vincent Hobbs, and the boos come out.
See what Webb's seeing. He's dropping back, and he's eyed to the right side, and Hobbs just gets knocked down.
James Vaughters kind of bumped him as he was going across. That's what the crowd was booing about. But now Colorado has had 6 possessions, just 2 first downs. One of those was by a penalty. So Dara O'Neal is on to punt. He's been busy already. And Drew Terrell is back deep. Terrell is covered right away. after a 37-yard punt. The special teams tackle by Josh Moten. Kevin Hogan still in at quarterback. Hogan in at quarterback. He has led his team to 2 scoring drives. Ricky Seal is in at tailback. On first down, the handoff is to Seal. Up the middle, gets stood up by Doug Rippey after a pickup of 2.
Well, we go back to an impact player in Will Pregame, and you see him right here coming in. He's this defensive end. He's going to come all the way down the line and make this tackle, crawling on his legs and on his arms to get a piece of that running back.
Second down and 8. Pregame, the leader of this defense for Colorado. Hogan setting up the screen, a high throw for Amon Wright. 3rd and 8 here for the Cardinals. Hogan forced out of the pocket. He can run. He's got some room. He has the first down. All the way up to the 44-yard line of Colorado, a 20-yard run. And that's the added dimension that this young man brings.
Yeah, it sure is, Justin. I like what he did here. He looked, he didn't have what he wanted, and then he just took off and ran. He saw the open. He said, I know I can get this first down. You can see that long stride that he has, and he's just toting that rock like he wants it more than ever. So that first down he picked up was great.
1st and 10 here for Stanford. Hogan, maybe a broken play on that. Hogan trying to get rid of it, does to Taylor. And Taylor back to the line of scrimmage, maybe gets a yard. Marquise Mosley there for the tackle.
Wow, I'm more impressed here with the way that he was able to still focus on Stephon Taylor and get him the football. He's got defenders in his face all around him. He's almost falling back, and that pressure by Poston right there wasn't able to get him enough pressure to knock him off balance, but he did make that throw.
Again, Hogan, 6'4", 224. Taylor splits out near side. Ertz in motion, empty backfield. Hogan to his left, throws, incomplete, was looking for Drew Terrell. How about the arm strength right there shown by Hogan?
Yeah, he did show some great arm strength, but I'm really impressed by Greg Henderson's ability to read that the receiver, know where he's going to be, and put a hand on the ball so he didn't make the completion. Nice job of throwing on the run, but nice play there by Greg Henderson to tip that pass and make it uncatchable.
3rd and 9 here for Stanford. Taylor in the backfield. You can see the comparison. The numbers speak for themselves. Hogan over the middle, up top, and it's hauled in by Levine Toilolo. Toilolo at 6'8", 265. You just throw it up for him. A 32-yard completion.
Yeah, I think Hogan had it zeroed in on who he wanted to go to. He looked to safety off. What a great job he did there to kind of open up that throwing lane. Then Toilolo goes over the top and picks up that ball over the top of Vigo. Very nice catch.
The tight ends are key for this offense for Stanford between Toilolo and Ertz. Hogan, sidearm to Ertz. And Ertz gets run out at the 9-yard line by Derek Webb. Picks up 2.
Well, we knew that he was going to play today, Hogan. He wasn't just going to come in on special certain situations, and we've seen him run a little bit of option down the goal line. We've seen him do some things in the air, throwing the ball deep, going on the play action, rolling to the side that it's so hard to throw to for a right-handed quarterback, the left-handed side, and make a strong throw and almost complete it. So we've seen some good things out of him today. He's getting in that groove of playing quarterback.
The last 2 passing plays have gone to the tight ends. You can see how important they are for the offense for Stanford. Handoff, Taylor up the middle, stays on his feet, still on his feet, dives forward, reaches to the 1. Gonna be very close to that first down marker. Marquise Mosley there for the tackle.
Well, I'm impressed right here. He had 2 Buffaloes right around him. He used his speed to just get right by him and try to make them miss a tackle. It's exactly what he did. He spun, using his balance to stay on his feet, and then just grinding to try to get that. You see him looking right down there. He knows where that goal line's at.
He also knows where that first down marker is at, so now you're facing a 3rd and 1 from the 2. Look at the difference there. Wow. Hogan to Taylor again. Taylor, he will have the first down, but he's short of the end zone. It's going to be 1st and goal from the, 1-foot line.
Well, they had extra linemen in again on this play. And you see Stephon Taylor there put his head down, try to avoid the big hit by Derek Webb.
1st and goal. Stanford will try to punch it in.
I'm surprised we haven't seen Hogan just take a QB sneak and lean in for a touchdown.
Hogan, the bootleg, pass, touchdown, Zach Ertz. You will not find a more wide open receiver than Zach Ertz just was there for the touchdown.
I think they had everybody in the whole stadium thinking they were going to run the football on that play, but Ertz didn't really have to make a move on anybody, just kind of a little banana route, knowing that no one was on him. And Hogan just, you saw that nice little touch pass he put on it, made it easy for Ertz to catch that ball to score a touchdown.
Jordan Williamson on for the extra point. Williamson's kickoff again will go out of the end zone. It will be Colorado ball at the 25.
Let's go back to that touchdown and take a look. Greg Henderson's eyes right here in the backfield. Then you see Zach Ertz able just to get outside. He was kind of fooled by that nice play action by Hogan.
Hogan's been impressive so far.
He has. I think he's kind of feeling comfortable in this offense, and really what I'm seeing is a little bit more consistency, some drives, mixing up this offense, throwing it on the run, roll out plays, some screens, some draws, and that's pretty effective right now against Colorado.
Jordan Webb in at quarterback. Webb throws behind his receiver. Now, Christian Powell, the intended receiver, Shane Scove, almost with the interception.
Well, I know they're down 28 points, and if you're going to get back in this game, you've got to be able to throw the football, but understanding that this game is played and good things happen at the line of scrimmage, so they got to be able to control that line and pass protect. But look at right there, Shane Scove wishes he would have come up with that interception.
Colorado just needs some positive yardage. Powell in motion, they swing it out to him. Powell lowers the shoulder, will pick up a few yards, tackled by Wayne Lyons. 3rd and 7 coming up.
You know, I've been so impressed with the way that Powell runs the football. I mean, why not give it to this guy 25 to 30 times a game, establish that running game? Their strength on offense is their offensive line in their backfield. So maybe we'll see him get back to that run.
Problem is, you're trying to run the ball against the number 2 ranked rushing defense in the country. Stanford, which averages just over 65 yards per game allowed on the ground.
You see Casa standing up as a tight end. Maybe they'll look at him in the middle of the field.
Webb coming, gets sacked by Shane Scove. Scove came unblocked. The 5th sack of the game for the Stanford Cardinal.
Well, you have Chase Thomas out there. You've got Trent Murphy. And you also have to account for Shane Scove, who comes with tremendous speed, and Webb didn't even see him.
A timeout taken here by Stanford with 2:14 on the clock here in the first half. 28-0. The war paint on there for Shane Scove. Missed the interception, got the sack. And now on to punt once again is Dara O'Neill.
Still has his Halloween outfit on, I think.
Terrell at the 38 trying to return it. Gets tripped up from behind as he's at the 42-yard line. Kevin Hogan in at quarterback. Low snap, Hogan. Little pitch to Taylor. Taylor breaks the tackle. And then Taylor delivers a blow against Derek Webb as he gets up to midfield.
Well, Stephon Taylor brings a lot to the table. You see him right here, looking downfield, picking up where his blockers are going to be and being real effective in this offense right now.
And now as the receiver makes the catch, a flag comes in late in the backfield. Greg Henderson makes the tackle against Taylor.
Foul, roughing the passer, number 3 in the defense. 15 yards at the end of the play, first down.
Doug Rippey, the linebacker, gets called for that foul. And again, when you're a team like Colorado right now that's struggling, 1-7 on the year, their only win was a victory against Washington State. You can't afford to have those costly penalties.
You can't. You talk about offensively taking care of the ball. Defensively, they got to make great decisions.
Hogan was again looking for Levine Toilolo, but there on the coverage was Paul Vigo. And it seems almost that's 2 balls now thrown to Toilolo. You can almost get the ball higher for him.
Yeah, you can. He can jump up there, but Paul Vigo, I think, doing a tremendous job of running stride for stride with him and getting his hand on the ball at the very last second and ripping it out of there.
Defensive coordinator Greg Brown for Colorado trying to get his team going. A throw to another tight end, Zach Ertz. And Ertz has another first down, this time a 12-yard gain.
Well, you can see how important those tight ends are in this offense for Stanford. Going to Toilolo and then also coming back to Ertz right away. Back-to-back plays to the tight ends.
Hogan gets out of the pocket, throws on the run low. That was intended for Cody Whitfield. 1:13 to go here in the first half.
I think what Hogan was doing there, obviously trying to complete that pass low and away, but also just throwing an incompletion and coming back out here and running another play. And originally we thought he was going to get maybe 10 to 20 plays, but looks like they're going to continue to keep him in during this game.
Anthony Wilkerson in at the tailback position. Hogan steps up into a crowd of black jerseys. That's really the first mistake we've seen from him as Brady Day gets credited with a sack.
Yeah, in the secondary, he's looking downfield. Great defensive coverage by the corners, the safeties. He didn't have anywhere to go with the ball. Good rush, containing him in the pocket. And then Brady Day just at the last minute bringing him down, taking him to the ground.
So 3rd and 14. What's your job here now if you're this quarterback, Kevin Hogan, on 3rd and 14, and you've got the ball at the 18-yard line? Excuse me, at the 22-yard line.
22-yard line, yeah. I think they want to still put points on the board, be effective, not make a mistake here, and go into the locker room with the momentum that they have. So 3rd and long, maybe they're going to try to throw the football to get in a position to kick this field goal.
They call a timeout to talk it over with 24 seconds left. David Shaw and his Stanford Cardinal, they have 24 seconds remaining in this first half, leading 28-0. It is 3rd down and 14. Hogan in the shotgun. Hogan passing over the middle, hold in by Jamal Rashard Patterson. A first down, the clock will stop as they have to move the chains, and it's 1st and goal from the 2.
There was no wasted motion right there in the steps for Hogan. He just delivered that ball quickly.
And now he'll spike the ball to stop the clock at 12 seconds. Again, remember, they have 1 timeout remaining, but you want to keep that in case you want to set up for the field goal.
Patterson going up with his strength, his ability to jump up and find that football. It's a very impressive throw and catch this part in the game.
So you have second and goal, 12 seconds left. You have one timeout remaining.
Second down and goal, 2.
Stephon Taylor in at tailback. And now a timeout will be taken by Colorado. Second and goal from the 2. Handoff, Taylor to the end zone, touchdown. Stephon Taylor with a second rushing touchdown of the game.
And Stephon Taylor, you know why? He's one of the best running backs in the country. When he gets that football, he goes upfield. He doesn't waste time, waste steps. He's very explosive and quick with his feet.
Jordan Williamson on for the extra point. $35-0.
Again, you see him with that leg drive. Put his head down, know where that end zone's at, and get in the end zone. I think you got to credit now the offensive line and how they've performed so far in this running game.
That offensive line, they are known as the Tunnel Workers Union. And Eric, we came on the air today saying how this is a potentially huge game for Stanford because of the quarterback situation. They're going to try out a new quarterback in Kevin Hogan. Well, Hogan in this game has been on the field for 4 drives. On those 4 drives, Stanford has scored 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, and I think that's impressive. A young quarterback, a redshirt freshman coming into a system, and we had the unknown. We didn't know how he was going to play. We didn't know how he was going to throw the football, but he's run the offense very well. He's run it to almost perfection, and he's doing great things throwing the football, which is one of the major things they've got to address with this offense.
Josh Nunez right now, all he can do is look on. Obviously, he's happy that his team is leading 35-0, but his starting position could certainly be in jeopardy with the way that Kevin Hogan is playing.
He's certainly more consistent.
Another touchback here as Colorado will have the ball at the 25 with 8 seconds to go here in this first half. And again, you think about what this could mean for Stanford. If you speak to Stanford fans and people who have followed the Cardinal all year long, they've talked about the inconsistency from Nunez and what would happen at the quarterback position. This is a team that's still 6-2, but people haven't been happy with that 6-2 record. Now you've got Oregon State next week, Oregon the following week. You may have found yourself a different quarterback. Of course, we'll see what he does in the second half. But the first half comes to a close. 35-0. Stanford leads Colorado. $35-0. The Colorado Buffaloes have a tough hill to climb here in Boulder, Colorado. Justin Kutcher alongside Heisman Trophy winner Eric Crouch. And Eric, we came on the air here today talking about how big of a game this is for Stanford because of a potential change at the quarterback position. Well, Kevin Hogan has come in. He's led 4 drives. All of them have resulted in touchdowns for the Cardinal.
Yeah, I think there's obviously you're seeing more consistency now in the Stanford offense. And that's one thing that they like and they need to see. And Hogan's been that player for him. It'll be interesting to see if he plays the whole entire second half.
Will Oliver will kick off. Well, Pooch, and that is taken at the 28-yard line by A.J. Tarpley. Well, we're going to see this young man, Kevin Hogan. And what did you see in that first half from him?
Well, I like the way that he threw the football. He didn't just zero in on one player. And I also like the way he used his legs and get on the outside to run with the football, make smart decisions. And then you see him here just putting a pass in the perfect position for his tight end to catch the ball and then rifling it in one down by the goal line. Real impressed by his versatility and his size and what he brings to this offense is a whole new dimension than what we've seen before at quarterback.
First half stats brought to you by Geico. Look at the difference in total yards and rushing yards.
-3, that sticks out to me.
On first down, handoff to Wilkerson. And Wilkerson will pick up a couple yards. Let's check in with Darius Walker.
Yeah, hey guys, I got a chance to catch up with both coaches at halftime, and I spoke with Coach Embry for Colorado, and I said, you know, you're not being able to move the ball. Where do you see the biggest problems are? And he said it was their third down efficiency, that's what he had the biggest issue with. For Coach Shaw, he said that, listen, his team has got to learn how to finish for 4 quarters, and that's what they're looking to do.
Right now they're facing a 2nd and 8. Play action, Hogan across the middle to his tight end, Ertz, who broke a tackle, and because of that, Ertz with a second effort picks up the first down.
Well, Hogan again making a good decision to get it to Ertz, and Ertz using his strength and his power to create a missed tackle. And this is what this offense is all about. It's about being physical, staying up on your feet and gaining those extra yards to keep the momentum and the drive of your team going forward.
The numbers on Hogan, very good so far in this game. Play action, Hogan rolling out with a bootleg, drops it off for Terrell, who's got some room down the sideline. And Terrell gets run out of bounds at the 35-yard line. 35-0 here in Boulder, Colorado. And Kevin Hogan and the Cardinal marching down the field. Hogan steps up, has some room to run, breaks a tackle down the sideline. Hogan cuts it back. Inside the 10, marked out at the 8.
And then what Hogan brings to the table in the running game, I think, is very impressive. You see him here breaking a tackle by Uri Wright, and then keeping inbounds. A lot of quarterbacks have run out of bounds. He turns it upfield and stayed in. That just shows you how determined he is to move this offense.
A 27-yard run for Hogan. Ramon Wright is in at tailback. It's 1st and goal from the 8. Quick pass is complete to Jamal Rashad Patterson, tackled by Greg Henderson for a loss of 2.
And I like what Greg Henderson did there, just kind of fighting through that block, knowing that he's got to make that play, otherwise it's a touchdown. So a good job of him of staying home and being physical.
David Shaw, what does he think of that play? Not a fan. Handoff, Wilkerson up the middle, and he gets inside the 5. A 7-yard run, Ray Polk there for the tackle. Anthony Wilkerson, a junior. You got Stephon Taylor, a senior. Think about the backfield. Ramon Wright, a sophomore. They also have a guy by the name of Barry Sanders, who's a freshman who looks like he's going to be a redshirt this year.
Hey, if you're a running back, you love that name. You got a high standard to live up to, but you love it.
Absolutely. Third and goal from the 4. Play clock down to 3. Will they get it off in time? The flag comes in. Was there a timeout first?
Delay a game. Offense number 8. 5-yard penalty. Means 3rd down.
All right, so Eric, you said before, you need, as a quarterback, to see the play clock on either end zone, so you put this one on Kevin Hogan.
Yeah, that's on Hogan. That's a young quarterback mistake. Not a lot of playing time in games. You know, he's got that play clock right in front of him, about 30 yards, right in the middle of it, and he's trying to, wave the motion guy going by, knowing that, hey, I don't have time to get this play off. He needs to just abort and call the timeout. They're in the 5-yard line. They want to score. Now this pushes them out a little bit.
Now it's 3rd and goal from the 9. The play clock is down to 4 again. Hand off to Wilkerson, and he gets stopped. Derek Webb, the first to make contact. And now we're going to see the field goal unit come on, and Jordan Williamson.
We talk about game type situations, a little bit different with the quarterback and running back in that mesh type with that quarterback putting that ball in the running back's stomach area. We talk about the mesh.
There is a player down on the field right now for Colorado. It is Justin Solis, the freshman from Thousand Oaks, California. Now a 31-yard field goal attempt here for Williamson. High snap. Good job by the holder, Daniel Seklinski, to get that ball down. And it's good from 31 yards out. It's now 38-0. Stanford leading Colorado here in the third. Kicking off will be Jordan Williamson. I know this may come as a shocker, but it's another touchback here for Jordan Williamson. All right, how about this Stanford defense? As advertised, what do you think?
As advertised, yeah, but they have to continue to play like this, and this was part of this continue to play for 3 and 4 quarters in the rushing game up front, making it difficult in the secondary, picking passes off. And then right there, Alex Carter laying a big hit on the big tight end, Kaza. And you can see that motivation, those big hits, those big plays create a lot of energy for this defense.
Nick Hirschman is in at quarterback now for Colorado. The defense for Stanford has allowed 20 total yards. Hirschman, pressure, gets rid of it in time to his wide receiver, Gerald Thomas, for a pickup of 8. How about the comparison between these two teams defensively?
Well, you knew that rushing defense was going to come in here and make an impact, and they've done that. I think it's about somewhere around -2 rushing yards right now for Colorado.
Stanford is the #2 defense in the country for rushing yards allowed per game. They're only behind the #1 ranked team in the nation, and that's Alabama. 2nd down and 2 after the second longest play of the day for Colorado. The slants was looking for Nelson Spruce. The defense by Jordan Richards. Hirschman taking the shot down the field for his tight end, Casa. And coming over for the help, Jordan Richards and Ed Reynolds.
Well, when you're a young quarterback who doesn't have the experience, the tight end does a good job of getting open, but he kind of floated him a pass. That one should be more driven on the line. That way the safety doesn't have time to come over there and make a big hit.
Is that just reps? What is it?
Yeah, that's just experience, reps, knowing where that safety's at. Maybe look him off with your eyes, take him to the left side of the field, and then come back and float that pass. But that safety's tight, you're going to have a big hit.
Dara O'Neal, the rugby punts. Drives Drew Terrell back to the 12-yard line. Terrell with a nice move. Able to get up to the 23-yard line. Ryan Iverson, the long snapper, was there for the tackle. It's 38-0 Stanford here in Boulder, Colorado over the Buffaloes. It has been 22 years since Stanford visited Boulder, Colorado as week 2 of the 1990 season. The Cardinal jumped out to a 14-0 lead, but the Buffaloes came roaring back behind Eric Bieniemy, who rushed for 149 yards. And then on 4th down with just 12 seconds to go, he went over the top. For his 3rd touchdown of the game, they won 21-17 en route to their national championship.
I loved watching that Darian Hagan and Eric Bieniemy running game that they had.
On 1st down, Anthony Wilkerson with a good second effort gets up to the 31-yard line, and now Eric Bieniemy, he is the offensive coordinator for this Colorado team, the all-time leading rusher, and maybe the all-time best name given by Chris Berman, Eric sleeping with Bieniemy.
Well, we met with him yesterday, and you know what a great job he's done as far as building this program offensively with the running backs that he's got right now. Having that vision to move guys from fullback to tailback and have them be in successful situations. And I'm talking about Christian Powell.
2nd down and 2 here for Stanford. Hogan, the quick pass to the far side, completes the pass to Ty Montgomery. Montgomery, who had missed the last 3 games with a leg injury, practiced on Tuesday, practiced this week, back in, and a 5-yard completion for the 1st down.
Yeah, and he picked up a very nice block outside by Terrell, and then a missed tackle by Uri Wright. So missed tackling has kind of been a problem all season long for this Colorado defense.
Coming out is Kevin Hogan, going down to the Wildcat with Anthony Wilkerson in at quarterback. This was the alignment as Hogan's now the wide receiver we saw before with the reverse. It's kept by Wilkerson. Nice move, stays on his feet, has the first down as he crosses midfield. Tackled from behind by Doug Rippey. A 16-yard run for Anthony Wilkerson.
Kind of like the fighting mentality that he has there, not going down, breaking tackles and still grinding. And you know, this is that offense that they expect a lot out of this running game. They expect guys to break tackles. They expect guys with that forward lean to pick up these 1st downs and make guys miss. So that's one thing that is very important as this offense goes through the 2nd half.
Wildcat formation once again. Wilkerson will keep it again. And Wilkerson up to the 44-yard line. On 2nd and 6, Hogan tries to break free. He cannot. Samson Kafovalu able to bring him down as Hogan got back to the line of scrimmage, so no sack.
Yeah, guys, you know, one of the things that John Embry wants to try to do at Colorado is change the culture, play with pride and a winning attitude. So it'll be interesting to see how Colorado sort of responds right now, even though the game may be out of reach, if guys are still finishing plays and playing through to the whistle.
And I think it speaks to something that you've got a guy, actually both these teams are coached by guys who played at their respective schools. So when they say restore the pride, they know what that pride is all about.
Yeah, and they sure know that having a guy that's been through that experience before in a game, even on to play in the NFL, is something I think will help recruiting in the future for both these teams.
The pass completed to Drew Terrell for a 1st down, an 8-yard completion. Darius, what about you? I mean, if you're being recruited by a guy who played at the school, who has the NFL experience, how does that maybe change your thought to go to that school?
Well, I'd say it's definitely got to influence it in a positive way because, you know, when you look at high school players coming out, I can guarantee you that every single one dreams of one day being in the NFL. So when you have a coach like John Embry who's been it, who's seen it, Eric Bieniemy, same deal, that really, really helps in terms of recruiting because you want to go there. So these guys know exactly what that's like and what it's going to take specifically to get there.
Another pass completed to Drew Terrell for Kevin Hogan, and you saw some of the arm strength there by Kevin Hogan. That's not a short pass, but you see what John Embry is doing, part of this trio of coaches that were players at Colorado and now head coaches at Colorado. You go all the way back to 1885 for the first one. 1st and 10 from the 19 here for Stanford. Hogan to the end zone, up top to his tight end, Toilolo for the touchdown. Well, if you're Oregon State, if you're Oregon, you may want to start preparing for a new quarterback for Stanford.
Yeah, I completely agree. Hogan's been very accurate in his throws today, very smart in his decisions. He knows that the receiver has got his defender beat. He puts a nice, accurate throw to the outside, again, allowing his player to come down with the ball.
Williamson on for another extra point. $45-0. How about our Ford game summary? Kevin Hogan for this Stanford Cardinal, 18 of 22. 184 yards, 2 touchdowns, and look at the difference in total yards. Wow.
And one thing we didn't mention there was the completion percentage. Over 80% completion rate throwing the football for Hogan.
Williamson to kick off. Will we have a return? Ray Polk, we will, from 1 yard deep in the end zone. And Polk will get wrapped up at the 10. The highlight play of the first half was the reverse run by Stanford.
Yeah, it was, and really this is the way you draw it up in the chalkboard in the meeting room. You got the blockers out here leading the way. You got 4 lead blockers and another one in the back here. And you see him, he just develops those blocks. There's really 2 people out there to block, and you've got 5 blockers. So a great job of him getting over the pylon. Didn't quite get the touchdown, but kind of a controversial call.
And we spoke with a replay official at the half, and they said they thought it was a touchdown, but they didn't have that conclusive evidence to see the ball over the goal line by the pylon. That's why the call stood. On first down, the pass is swung out to Vincent Hobbs, but he gets tackled right away by Alex Carter. Alex Carter, the freshman, can deliver some big hits.
He sure can. He took that hit on Casa, and he's 260 pounds, but here you hear it again. All the way up here in the broadcast booth.
I'll tell you what, that's a kid that Stanford Cardinal fans should be very happy is on their team, because the way he's playing out there, just a true freshman, man, they are certainly
freshman, 6 foot, 200 pounds. Now that's a big true freshman.
On 2nd and 10, the handoff up the middle to Tony Jones. And Jones gets back to the line of scrimmage, tackled by Josh Morrow. But you think about what this Stanford team is doing. You know, a couple of years ago, Jim Harbaugh took over, and Stanford, they were not a national program by any stretch of the imagination. Harbaugh comes in, changes the attitude of this program. He gets a kid by the name of Andrew Luck. Well, they got lucky with Luck. And he put this program really on the map once again. And now David Shaw has taken it, and you lose Luck, he goes to the NFL, but you're building something with that recruiting base, and you're getting big-time players.
I think they got a big-time player in Hogan right now as a young well, not true, but a redshirt freshman.
And now ripped to the ground is Hirschman by Josh Morrow, the 6th sack of the game for Stanford.
Josh Morrow on the right of your screen. He's going to come in and make the sack, and really just a bull rush. And the quarterback's got to get rid of the ball. I mean, taking sacks, 6 sacks on the day, throw the ball away. Don't lose yards. Put your team in a really difficult situation.
6 sacks by 5 different players. And now Dara O'Neal will have to punt from his own end zone. Able to get the punt off, a big punt. Terrell back at his own 46-yard line, gets tackled almost right away. Josh Moten on the special teams tackle. How do you stop Kevin Hogan right now? That's what this Colorado defense is wondering. And I think it's what a lot of teams will watch film of this game and say, okay, we gotta change things around. A handoff to the up back, Patrick Scove, the younger brother of the linebacker Shane Scove, and Patrick picks up 4 yards.
Whenever your quarterback in the system can run the football, and we've seen Hogan now be able to run this football, you have to account for him. You have to get in the defense where there's guys that are going to be around him focusing on him running the football. And he's also throwing the ball well, so that the dynamics of him right now can create problems down the road for defenses.
2nd down and 6. Hogan comes near side. The ball is dropped by Ty Montgomery. Greg Henderson was right there on the coverage.
Yeah, and really another perfect pass by Hogan and showing his accuracy throwing the football. And this is what the coaches are going to do when they go back. They're going to look at all the throws that he made. They're going to look at his footwork. They're going to get some feedback by some of the upperclassmen on this offense. They're going to, I guarantee you, they're going to go ask Stephon Taylor what they feel. Is there a different feel in the huddle? Is there a different sense of urgency with this offense, getting in and out of the huddle?
3rd and 6. Audible, play clock down to 3. Hogan has to step up, and he gets sacked. Will Precheck. A loss of 3 on the sack, and we'll see Daniel Zaklinski on to punt.
Will Precheck, just a guy that just doesn't stop. He just fights and he fights. He's getting through blocks, using his physical ability just to wrap up on the legs of Hogan, knowing that he's going to take off and run, so I better take his legs away.
On the 7th drive, Colorado is finally able to stop Kevin Hogan as they force a punt. Zaklinski, a high punt towards the sideline, and it's taken at the 15, the fair catch by Nelson Spruth.
They're going to have to find a way to stop Colin Klein in the running game if they do have a chance.
The third quarterback of the game for Colorado, Connor Wood, completes the pass to Nick Casa. A 14-yard completion, the longest play of the game for Colorado.
We're almost to the fourth quarter here, and Casa's really getting involved in the offense for the first time. So, maybe we're going to see more of that. These quick passes to the tight ends, maybe some screens. Get these guys in a little bit of a rhythm, which we haven't seen today.
And maybe John Embry right now, going to his third quarterback, is just looking for something positive going forward. Connor Wood, just a sophomore. Low snap, pressure coming. Wood rolling out, throws towards the sideline. A flag comes in late. The pass is caught at the 40. Dustin Ebner brought it back.
10-yard penalty, Maine's first down.
And
after all that.
Exactly, after all that, a great throw by Wood and a catch on the sideline to stay in bounds. And then an errant penalty that comes out. Once you think you got something going, and you really don't, and that talks about also the consistency of this offense. You know, their personality right now, the identity of this offense is really unknown.
First down and 20 now for Colorado. Wood with some time, throws high. Was looking for Keenan Canty.
And again, you've got a quarterback that's come into the game as third quarterback, a guy that probably didn't get a lot of snaps during the week at practice. Trying to know that first and second and third progression. He had a running back sitting all by himself on the outside. If he would have got the ball to him, it could have been a very big play.
How difficult is it coming into a game like this when you are the third quarterback, when you haven't gotten those reps?
Well, it's very difficult. Like I said, you don't get the reps in practice, so your confidence of going in the game and actually going game speed and running your plays is just not there.
Hand off to Powell, tries to bust through the hole, breaks a couple of tackles, able to spin forward up to the 26, picks up 5. 3rd and 15 coming up. Looks like that will bring this third quarter to a close. 45-0. Number 14, Stanford, on the road here in Boulder, leading Colorado as we go to the 4th. Wood drops back, throws high over the middle. Flag comes flying in from the backfield. Let's see what this one is.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 23. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
By the way, you were wondering who would win? I do.
Yeah, you ate the whole thing? Mm-hmm. Wow. I just got a little niblet out of mine.
There was the hold against Ronnie Harris. So 1st and 10 now up at the 37-yard line. That is the 4th first down for Colorado today. Hand off to Dante Abron. Abron across the 40, up to the 41-yard line, picks up 4, sets up 2nd down and 6.
Well, I know Abron has been brought in here as a true freshman to play running back, but Christian Powell, in my mind, is that guy that they need to get him the football more. Maybe they're giving guys an opportunity here. They don't quite know who's going to be the future of this offense. So Mixing it up, getting guys out here in game-type situations to see what they can do on the field.
Hand off again to Abron, trying to get to the outside, lowers that shoulder, big collision. With Zach Hoffbauer, a true freshman, so two true freshmen going at it, only a pickup of 1 yard. This Colorado team, we've talked about it, the youth, 13 true freshmen have played this year.
And then another 16 redshirt freshmen. So put in perspective, guys being on the field for the very first time on this offense and defense.
Last year, John Embry had 28 seniors on the roster. This year, he's got 8. Jones in motion, empty backfield on 3rd and 4. Wood throws low. Was looking for Dustin Ebner. 4th and 4 coming up. Dara O'Neill will be on to punt again, and the recruiting for John Embry and Colorado, it's certainly a process, isn't it, Darius?
It's absolutely a process, and one of the things a few years ago, Colorado had depth issues with their offensive line and defensive line specifically. So this past season, John Embry spent 14 of his 26 scholarships on those 2 positions alone. So they started in one section of the team, but it is a process, and move on to the next section as the years go on, but it's going to take some time.
The punt takes a Colorado roll, will be down at the 21-yard line. Is Brett Nottingham. He replaces Kevin Hogan, who went 18 for 23, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he rushed 7 times for 48 yards. Ramon Wright is in the backfield. Hand off to Wright. And Wright, with that good second effort, kept those legs churning up to the 25. So we've seen 3 different quarterbacks in the game now for Stanford. And a big reason why is because they had to figure out who was going to replace Andrew Luck. Of course, Andrew Luck, the #1 overall pick of the Indianapolis Colts this past season. Had he come out 2 years ago, would have been the #1 overall pick of the Carolina Panthers. Kevin Hogan, is he now the heir apparent to Andrew Luck with those numbers compared to what Colorado's quarterbacks have done in this game? On 2nd down, a little miscommunication there, I believe, on the play as the pass is completed to Jordan Pratt, but there were 2 players, Pratt and Cody Whitfield, who are right there ready to make the reception.
But what I like about what Pratt did right there is regardless of who it was going to, he went out and he snatched that football. He wanted it.
This is part of the guys that this Stanford team has had to replace. Quarterback and tight end, Andrew Luck and Colby Flynn are now both with the Indianapolis Colts, and you think those 2 guys are happy to be together in the NFL after all those years in college?
The timing, the confidence, what it does for them offensively, just to know one another that well.
Nottingham, a low throw intended for Cody Whitfield. See, I think maybe he wanted to go to Whitfield the first time, felt bad, so he tried to come back to him this time.
Well, it's definitely an opportunity for him to come out here and complete passes. You know, you can't throw the ball low and to the ground, and you know, you're trying to, in this situation, they're still even looking for a backup quarterback, someone that's going to come in, secondly, if someone isn't playing well.
Zaklinski on to punt. Gerald Thomas back at his own 30. Good high punt. Taken back by the 20-yard line by Thomas. And Thomas loses the ball. It was never blown dead. And we have one official saying it's Stanford football. Recovered by Joe Hemscott. Ryan Hewitt forced the fumble by Gerald Thomas.
And there's an opportunity for Colorado to make a play, but Thomas right there taking his legs out.
That's a fumble.
That is a fumble. And Ronnie Harris, his knee was not down. That is a true fumble right there. And Ronnie Harris just whacking the ball right out from his grip.
Another turnover here for the Colorado Buffaloes. Stanford now with great field position at the 22 of Colorado. Nottingham, the play action. Pass to his fullback, Patrick Scove. A 5-yard completion, 2nd down and 5.
Kind of an ideal situation that I feel for Stanford to get some young guys in here and make some plays and to go out here and create big opportunities for themselves in their offense. And you're seeing it right here with this opportunity that they've been given.
Play clock down to 1. Handoff. Wilkerson. And Wilkerson looks like he may have lost a yard on the play. Kurt Poston there for the tackle. They've lost twice this year. Once against Washington, once against Notre Dame. Nottingham scrambling out of the pocket, throwing to the end zone, and that is incomplete. Was looking for Luke Kamatule.
Well, Nottingham really doing the smart thing there and just throwing the football away. Keeping your offense in a position now that you can kick the field goal and put some points on the board.
Jordan Williamson comes on for the field goal attempt. He converted before from 31 yards. Now we'll try from 35 yards. And Williamson kick. It is good. It is now a 48-0 Stanford lead. Back here in Boulder, Colorado, Stanford and the Colorado Buffaloes meeting for the first time here since 1990. Colorado won that meeting back in 1990. This time it's going the way of the Cardinal, 48-0. Stanford leading over Colorado with 9:52 to go in the 4th quarter. Jordan Williamson, after making a 35-yard field goal, will kick off. And once again, this will be a touchback for the Buffaloes. I believe I just heard that backhanded compliment by Eric Crouch as Connor Wood tries to escape the pressure on the run, throws, and he completes the pass. Tony Jones, his running back, makes the catch down the field for a 22-yard completion, the biggest play of the game for Colorado.
Yeah, Wood just getting outside. I like how he keeps his eyes downfield on his receivers. He makes an accurate throw and catch.
The reason why I said the backhanded compliment, did anybody else hear Eric Crouch say, you know, now they have that spread offense and they're throwing the ball more? I mean, it's not that option that you're running back.
It's hard to rack him up on the ground, man. It's hard. That's work. It's real work.
Wood over the middle, high, looking for Nick Casa. Well, I think it goes without saying that Connor Wood has been the most effective of the 3 quarterbacks thus far for Colorado in this game.
Yeah, he has been the most effective. I like how he's looking for that tight end. He's rolling out, making the great throws that he needs to make to at least get them in positions to keep this continued drive down the field. And they've got a quarterback issue here. They've got to find a guy to come out here and run this offense and make big plays and put guys in positions to win.
2nd down and 10. Wood again over the middle to Casa. And the pass is complete. And for the first time in this game, Colorado will run a play inside of Stanford territory. A 20-yard completion to Nick Casa.
And he knows Nick Casa is a gamer. He is a big-time player that transferred from that defensive end position to the tight end. So that just happened this year. That's not just when he got to Colorado. That was this year. So how hard of a transition has that been? But it just speaks to the athleticism of Nick Casa.
And off to Abram, who gets thrown to the ground by Harold Bernard.
Harold Bernard coming up from that strong safety position, and like you said, just grabbing him and tossing him on his head and showing him that this defense has to play the 4 quarters. You know, we talked to Thomas, and he said, we can't just play 3. We have to play 4. And that's the type of physical play that they want in this 4th quarter to finish this game, even though they are up 48-0.
At this point, I would think if you're Stanford, you're saying, hey, I want the shutout.
They're playing like they want the shutout.
And the fumble. Ball is loose at midfield, still loose, and it's still loose. Finally recovered at the 44-yard line by the fullback, Alex Wood. It's a loss of 25, but if you're Stanford, and I know if you're the coaching staff, you're saying just fall on the ball.
That outside linebacker coming in, Kevin Anderson, really forcing this fumble. And if you look right here, 58's just got to jump on that ball. There's no reason to try to pick it up. Just get on it. Create that turnover and get your offense the ball back.
Derek Mason, the defensive coordinator, I would venture to say we'll be having a talk with those guys after this series, saying just jump on the ball. Play clock down to 1, and they will not get the play off. So after a 25-yard loss, what's the difference when you're facing third and 33 to face?
5 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Main 3rd down.
And look at the disappointment right now on John Embry's face. He's like, what are we doing? We can't have this. And he's right. You can't have this many delay of game penalties from your quarterback. They have to have their eyes. I know there's a lot of things going on in their heads, but they got to keep an eye on that play clock.
Well, now it becomes a very difficult 3rd and 38 after the 3rd and 33.
Yeah, that's a long ways to go for that first down marker.
Wood completes the pass to Tyler McCullough. Barry Browning and Devon Carrington there for the tackle and forcing the punt. So the shutout remains intact here for the Stanford defense.
This is a character check to me. I mean, when you're this far down in a game, 48-0, and you know that you're going to lose this game, it's a character check. The tape is still rolling. These coaches are going to go back and evaluate these players one by one and say, did we get the effort out of every player that we wanted to at this situation in the game? You know, you look at a player like Will Precheck. He's the type of guy to mold yourself after.
Of Teo. You know, I don't know about clear picture here with Colin Klein, especially with Teo on that list. But you got to remember the last time, you know, when Charles Woodson was a defensive player where he actually won the Heisman Trophy. It was one of those years where, you know, offensively there wasn't a whole lot of dominance happening. And Colin Klein is absolutely playing very well. But I love the fact that Teo's getting the buzz that he deserves. Shout out to the Irishman.
Is there room for a guy like Geno Smith to get back into the conversation? A guy like Matt Barkley, who is the preseason favorite, to get back into the conversation?
Yeah, I think there's opportunity for all those players right now. This is a big month in college football, the month of November, winning your conference games and showing that you can finish strong. There's no doubt in my mind that Geno Smith can come back into this contention. But with Manti Te'o and the things that he's doing right now defensively, he deserves to be on there. He deserves to be on that list. And he is a big physical guy that is taking that defense of Notre Dame to a whole new level.
Colin Klein is in action tonight. Manti Te'o is in action. The top 4 teams, Alabama and Oregon, also in action. And we've got a timeout taken here by Stanford as that play clock was winding down.
That's their first charge timeout.
48-0 here with 5:19 to go in the 4th. Stanford leading Colorado. Thankfully, he says to New Brunswick, stay strong. A handoff here to Ricky Seal, and Seal gets up to the 36-yard line, picks up 9. On 2nd and 1, the handoff. Jackson Cummings, and Cummings picks up the first down.
We look at the depth right now that they're able to build right here by putting in so many different running backs and running them. I know it's late in the game, but this does build depth and it builds confidence in your young running backs.
Coming up on 4 minutes to go in this game. Brett Nottingham. Robbie Picasso is in at quarterback, the 4th quarterback of the game for Stanford. And on top of that, I do think Patrick is rubbing it in. Did you see that? Did you hear that update? Wow. A good run here by Seal, picks the first down. Hand off once again to Cummings. And Cummings trying to fight forward to pick up a yard. Picasso to Devin Cajuste. Handoff up the middle, and Cummings fights for that first down. Let's see where they mark him down. It looks like he should have enough on the 40-yard line. It will be a first down for Stanford as the clock winds down, coming up on a minute and a half to go.
This Coach Brian Kelly really has his head on straight.
48-0 here. Stanford leading Colorado as Robbie Picasso is just taking a knee. And time now for today's Reese's Perfect Play. And we go back to that first quarter. It was the interception by Ed Reynolds. Second straight week. He has taken one and run one back for a touchdown. The 5th straight week that the Stanford defense has scored a touchdown. The final score here today, 48-0. Stanford defeats Colorado. Stanford moves to 7-2 on the season, 5-1 in Pac-12 play, while Colorado falls to 1-8, 1-5 in Pac-12 play. And it looks like the Stanford Cardinal have found themselves a new quarterback in Kevin Hogan.
Yeah, I think Hogan displayed a tremendous resiliency today coming into this situation and poise. I mean, he just looked like he was never under any pressure to get discombobulated in his head. Made great decisions, ran the football well, threw great passes. I think that's going to help him down the road.
Hogan on the day, 18 of 23, 184 yards and 2 touchdowns. Let's check in with Darius Walker, who's standing by with head coach David Shaw.
Now, Coach, you told me at halftime that, your team needs to finish. You guys have not finished all season. 48-0. Is it safe to say you guys close this game out effectively?
We played well in the second half, which was a challenge to our team to make sure that we finish the game strong, that we never let our foot off the gas pedal, because from here on out, we got to play 60-minute games.
When you look at your quarterback in Kevin Hogan, you talked about how well he's been playing in practice. Phenomenal day for him today. Was these your expectations with putting him in? Did you think that he would play this well?
Absolutely, because that's what he's shown us in practice. And he started off early in the season, not quite ready to handle all that we had, which got him out of the quarterback competition. But throughout practice, he's been showing us he can do more and more and more. The door was open for him today, and he walked through it.
You guys got some tough games coming up with the rest of the schedule in Oregon, Oregon State, and USC, or UCLA. When you look at that schedule and you look at your team, what are some of the things that you guys got to do to get better and to be ready for those games?
Well, it's just playing smart. We got a really good defense, really good on special teams. We got to be able to run the ball, use our play action. Hogan's mobility, I think, will help us out a ton as well. But the biggest thing is we can't turn the ball over and give ourselves a chance to win the fourth quarter.
Well, Coach, we certainly appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
The final score here, 48-0. Stanford defeats Colorado.